Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be diving back into the Rose. One of you asked if I would do an album reaction to the Rose's Duel. I didn't know how to do this because this is why I've been putting it off, because I have heard You're Beautiful, Back to Me, Alive, and Wonder. So 4 songs I've heard out of the 11. So I didn't know how to approach this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do potentially in 1 or 2 videos. I think maybe 2. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Dawn, Nauseous, Lifeline, and Dusk, I think. And then we will look at Angel, Eclipse, and Cosmo in a separate video. I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'd have loved it for it to have been 12 tracks or 10 tracks solely for the fact that it was even, so I could do, because I've already listened to the 4 I mentioned, it would have been easier to do even numbers across 2 videos, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Pause warning before we get into any of these songs. I do pause, so if you don't enjoy pausing, I understand, but I don't enjoy missing parts of songs when I'm reacting to them. And if I can't make a quick thought, I don't want to miss something in a song because I'm trying to quickly kind of say what I'm thinking. So I do pause. So if that's not for you, that's absolutely fine. But without any further ado, let's get into Rose's Duel Part 1, video Part 1. And we're going to be starting with Dawn. Let's get into this. I also am intrigued by the fact that there are, ooh, sorry, ooh, I missed a bunch because the volume was too low. I love the sound of birds. But I like that there are official audio track videos for all of the songs on this album. Obviously, a lot of artists will put out lyric videos for the occasional non-single, but in general, they might not do do it for every song. And if they do it for every song, it's often a very basic, here's the album artwork, here's the song kind of thing. Whereas this feels like we're going to get some visual content to watch. So yeah, this says Duel Dawn, so let's get into it. I will try not to pause too much, but I can't promise. Love the way that this is filmed. It's giving like old film, but like in color kind of vibe. Given like road trip. A really nice texture on the keyboard sound here. It's giving almost that feeling of waking up. It's odd to say it, but it feels like almost like the kind of musical equivalent of the sun rising. I love the way that the textures are playing off each other. Ooh. It's a nice arpeggio. That sound effect that's going along with it. Even like the drone sound of the strings, the drone note, it gives that almost like piercing, like when the sun pierces the sky, the horizon line. I love that. I love that the intros to this album, because you know there's a great many ways that you can do it, but I like that with this there is it's almost like you're allowing the music to speak for itself. So maybe if I do split it up, I know I said in the beginning, but I might do 3 songs in this part, and then maybe start the next part with, because I think there was Dusk was one of the tracks, and so I assume if this is the intro, because I know it's meant to be like the CD's meant to be like 2 different sides, so I'm assuming if this is the kind of the start of the first side, that Dusk will be the start of the second side. So we might. What I think I'll do is I'll split it, so we'll have the 3 songs, I think, and then we'll do the 4 songs in the second part. But I liked this. It gave almost coming of age movie soundtrack kind of vibes. I could imagine this being played over shots, and there were similar shots, but shots of like that kind of teen road trip, or that kind of maybe like a scene of someone moving to a new place, at the end of the film or whatever, where there's that kind of maybe hopefulness to it. It will be interesting to see if they approached when we get to Dusk, if they approach it the same way, um, or if, like its name suggests, it's maybe darker or maybe sadder. Because I think in the order, Dusk will be coming before Alive, not directly before, but I think in the overall track list. And so, obviously, with the kind of themes and storylines that are in Alive, I think be fair to say that Dusk will be darker. So as I said, I have already heard You're Beautiful. There's a reaction to this on the channel. So we're going to the next song, which is track 3, which is Nauseous. I also like how before we get into this, with the first song being an instrumental, I find or have found in some LPs and EPs and such that when artists do that, they will often highlight them. So they'll be like intro colon da 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 or something, something that really separates them from the rest of the work, and almost says to the person that maybe doesn't listen to every song that they can just kind of go, "Ah, that's an intro. We'll just skip to track 1, to actual track 1, which to them would be track 2 for the rest of us." And so I like, I said about it kind of speaking for itself, but I like the idea that the way that this has been presented to us by the Rose is this kind of, it's as important as You're Beautiful, as important as we'll hear Nauseous being, as important as Back to Me, which I have heard, so I will not be reacting to it here. I did react to it on my Twitch stream a long time ago, when it first came out. God, it feels like so long ago now. But you know what I mean. It within the body of work, it has its place. It's not just a filler track, which some could accuse other artists of doing when they do the whole intro kind of idea. It has a place, and indeed, the whole point, I think, of it is a mood setter, a tone setter, and it's introducing the concept of this part of the album, which I think is important. So we are going to get into this. There are no subtitles on this, so I'm going to assume it's mostly in English, or if there are lyrics, they'll be on screen, so on and so forth. But this is Nauseous, so let's get into this. I love the almost, it's almost like a synth played alongside a guitar, like, or a bass. Like there's, I don't know, or maybe just it might just be an effect, but it feels, because you can hear the bass, I think, in it, you know, the bass guitar, but it feels like there's something else. Like at the bottom there's like a bom 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 underneath the bass guitars dun dun dun. Texture wise, sorry. I love Woo-sung's voice. I love that rising da 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 da. Oh, it's really. Oh, that's the cinnamon challenge. Oh, all I can see when I think of cinnamon and sugar, I think it was cinnamon and sugar. I know obviously it was definitely cinnamon, because cinnamon challenge. But all I can see is that GIF, and I remember watching the damn video at the time. Glozell. I think it was the cinnamon challenge she was doing, but like she tried it and like she coughed it out and it like came out as like smoke. And that's what I see. So this song is almost like, so you know, you have your crush songs. It's almost like the crush's rebuttal or like answer. Like, you know, this person's clearly been sending a lot of messages, and Woo-sung is kind of saying like, yes, I saw everything, and please stop almost. I think. And that's where the nauseousness comes from. And again, that texture of cinnamon and sugar, it makes you feel, ugh. I have heard this part from the tour videos. This part, it's catchy. Just the look and the sound of you making me nauseous. Ah! I think if anyone ever said that to me, you'd never see me again. You would never see me again. Ah. And it's got that kind of late 2000s vibe to the chorus here. And I think Dojun is singing this part after this here. I'm only telling you that because of the way he says Luke. I can't do it how he says it, but his pronunciation of the word. I'm not saying he's mispronouncing it. Please don't misinterpret that. But his voice is very, even his speaking voice is very Dojun. Like you can tell that it's him speaking. I love the guitar. Yeah, it sounds like, I might be wrong actually, but it sounds like the first part, just the look, is Dojun, and then it goes back to Woo-sung. Because it has that, the Nauseous has that almost yodel quality that Woo-sung has when he does his higher notes. Woo-sung's high notes are often very evocative, and they often sound like more of a cry than singing. And I don't mean that again in a negative way, but it sounds more of an emotional melody in his voice, rather than just straight up singing a note like da da. You know, he has like it has its own life to it, if that makes sense. I might be wrong, but it sounded like Dojun. Okay, no, this is Tojun.
Spreading rumors talking about my life. I bet you feel fucking special. Try to bring me down, but I'm alive. Thank you for the recognition.
I can imagine this at tour. This is such a fun song to sing. And I think if the crowd like sings along, if you've got like really energetic crowd, oh, it would like feel amazing. I'll be honest, I didn't know the Hangul. I didn't know the Korean. Dojun was singing. Yeah, see. Yes, this is okay. So this is what I mean. If you compare Tojun's Nauseous here, it sounds different. It's a different texture and different timbre. Especially like this part, you could have an entire section where you're doing like call and response with the crowd. It's so catchy. I love that. Because obviously heartaches are often so painful. And obviously we know how tummy aches feel. But it's that comparison of the two. It's genius. Oh, I love it. I have already seen back to me. I love this. Also, the art is interesting here. The use of because it's not the same picture throughout. Obviously, it's a photo set that they've designed for this song, but it's an interesting use of the liquefying kind of effect over it, like almost like that kind of thing of like tummy ache, headache, or dizziness, not feeling great. I also like this this random, I think it's called halftone. I think that's the effect name. The dots. Because again, it feels like one of those festival songs. And I don't know, this kind of imagery reminds me of like 50s and 60s bands, and even again 2000s bands, in the way of that. I love this song. Again, I've made no progress on my Korean. I think 살라, I think means life. This means only. So maybe only your mouth. I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try. This is not Kenneth Lund's Korean. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. It was a really good song, as I said. And I think I've said it in previous videos of the Rose. The Rose are built as a band perfectly for festivals. There are a lot of bands in the world, and in the and no, well, every band has its own niche and its own musical stylings and stuff. I don't think every single band that has ever existed has always done well on the stage. Some work better in the kind of studio environment. But the Rose are a group and a band, a group of individuals, and as a band that have such amazing stage presence. Like I've seen, not just kind of fan cams and stuff of their performances, but as well the Q&A sections of their concerts and their meet and greets meet and greet Q&As before the concerts, and they just have amazing stage presence. And I really ignore the fact that I'm yawning. It's really early in the morning. I have not slept. But the one is not indicative of how I feel about the song. But they have this amazing stage presence and stuff like that. And like this, I can see this song, having it, because obviously the length of the song is 2 minutes and 27. I can see them making it like 5 minutes long with like riffs and audience participation and a whole bunch of stuff. And that chorus, everyone is going to be singing along. It's already, the tune is already in my head. It's such a memorable tune. And so, yeah, I really, really like it. So the last song for this first part is Lifeline. It did start playing just before I could pause it in time and kind of scoot it back. And there's like an interesting vocal sample. It's it sounded interesting. So let's get into Lifeline. It's an interesting shot. Well, I like the mixed media.
Say all the bad things, sipping on your brain like it's codeine. Run away to a paradise. So pick anywhere you like. And take a second for the city lights.
I like this.
We'll get it right. 'Cause I ain't ever gonna change my mind. I hope you notice.
I could tell immediately when Tojun came in, because he
I ain't ever gonna change my mind.
again, the way he vocalizes is very unique, and it's Tojun's vocalizations are like a warm hug. They feel comforting to me as a listener, and that's not to again discredit Woo-sung's voice, because his voice is amazing. That's not what I'm saying. But they have different approaches and different timbres to their voice, and they know where to use both of them as like the main vocals. They know where to use both of them. I love this though.
Lifeline, you don't.
I love the reason I'm loving this song so far is there's so many love songs where the outpouring of love, whether it's romantic or otherwise, because love songs can be romantic or otherwise, they're often almost high fantasy in their concepts, bringing the moon down to you and do. And they have this really romanticized kind of, almost to an unrealistic point. Whereas here, it feels there's elements of the romanticizing, because it's a love song, but it feels grounded. And I think what I like about this is, if you take like real life and things like that, people don't always stay together, that are in relationships. Relationships fall apart. Even ones that get to say marriage, they don't always last forever. And some marriages that do last forever are not happy marriages. And so what I like about this is the way that the Rose are saying here, they're being upfront about being kind of like, they want to be there for this other person,
I could be a lifeline, you don't.
but it's a suggestion.
You don't gotta hurt, baby. If the world is coming down, I will
Like, here's the high fantasy.
start to lose your hope. I won't let you go. No, you know.
I love this drum in the background.
I could be a lifeline.
I love this vocal sideline. I love the I could be a lifeline. I love the way there's that jump vocally. Na 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 na. It's so
Could be a lifeline.
It's almost like the vocal equivalent of jumping in front of a train for someone or pushing someone out of the way. The idea of I could be a lifeline, you know, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Be a lifeline. I know what it's like being hopeless. Bruises on your mind like it's broken. But there's a better life on the other side.
I love that journey.
Where you like. Take a second.
I loved that the way that they use locations in this in the song though, because you know it's a very common occurrence to like do the whole the grass is greener on the other side, but I like the way that they're twisting this in this song to be a positive thing of like you're not happy here, you're not happy in your life, let's go and find somewhere that you can be happy, let's find you an opportunity to do something. And I like it, the lyrical appreciation of the city lights. Take a second for the city lights. It feels to me like that kind of almost like if you're coming from like a quieter place, like maybe a town, a village where life is slower and maybe there aren't as many opportunities for someone, because that's unfortunately kind of the truth about villages and small towns. This idea of taking a second for the city lights almost as like an appreciation for taking chances, moving faster than a snail's pace, you know, taking risks. You know, the song talks about being a lifeline, and it's almost this kind of thing of, you have been hurt, you're afraid to get back out there, so take a moment, take a second, and just be okay with taking a risk. Because once you've been hurt, there is this kind of tendency to reel yourself in, for fear of being hurt again. But that can create a negative, very negative situation. I saw a quote that was like, you will tolerate, or people will often tolerate, an uncomfortable familiarity or I can't remember the exact words, but basically for a better unknown, like a more positive unknown. And I like this idea with this song about almost like the kind of thing of like, I want to help you get out of your shell. I want to help you get back out there and, you know, do the things you want to do. And yes, you've been hurt, but even if you do get hurt again, you're not going to be alone. You're not going to have to go all the way back into yourself and back into your shell, because I will be here. But I love this. We'll just wonder till we get it right. Again, I love the way the energy and the drums start building up this part. I love this song. Again, as well with that lifeline, the riff is almost like an up and down, you know? But it doesn't, it's not like, melodically it doesn't go all the way down, if that makes sense. So it's almost that kind of thing of like a cushioned fall. I don't know. I might be reading too much into that, but that's kind of what I take. Even there, like lifeline, it's not like low or anything or dark sounding. It's comforting and calming. I really like this. I like, hang on. The heart rate sound. Interesting way to end it. Because if you're someone's lifeline, you're helping them survive, you're helping them be better. Oh, I love this. I was originally going to kind of go, this is part one, and this is my favorite song. Um, so far, I think out of the three pieces we've heard, I think Lifeline is my favorite song so far of these songs. Obviously, if I if we take into account that I have heard You're Beautiful and I have heard Back to Me, I think my ranking so far goes Lifeline, Nauseous, Back to Me, You're Beautiful, and Dawn. But that is more, ranking wise, is more because obviously Dawn is an instrumental song. I don't hate it, and that's not what I'm saying at all. But that's for me why it's lower. Is just purely, it's not it's not, this ranking isn't kind of like a quality check, if you like. It's just a case of, for me, I prefer songs with lyrics. I think all of these songs, because as I said, I've heard You're Beautiful, I've heard Back to Me. Now we've heard these other three songs. I don't dislike any of them, and I think they're all really strong. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Dusk, because Dusk, I'm looking at the playlist. Dusk is 55 seconds, so I'm assuming we're going to get kind of a second introduction to the second part of this album now. So I'm very intrigued to do that. I will be recording this straight after this, but it will be a separate video, just because I don't want it to be a single video, in case, for instance, there's copyright issues or anything like that. So that's my big reason of separating them. Also, if they're shorter, they're more easily accessible for you guys, to listen to my thoughts and stuff like that. If if you wanted to know my thoughts about, Nauseous, you don't have to watch the rest of the video if you're not interested in my thoughts in that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, not just of Dawn, Nauseous, and Lifeline, but also You're Beautiful and Back to Me. I've really wished now almost that I hadn't reacted to You're Beautiful, and that I hadn't reacted on my stream to Back to Me, because Back to Me was the first thing I'd ever listened to, of the Rose. It was before it was actually the reason I considered making a YouTube channel, but it was before I made my YouTube channel. And so I didn't record it or anything, so I don't think it's available on my Twitch anymore. But yeah, the Back to Me was kind of my introduction. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts, and I will see you either in part 2 or in another video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in one of those. Bye everyone. Bye.